welcome. How is everyone today?
Good.
Awesome.
Good.
Hey, Paulo, nice to see you.
Hey, nice to see you.
Hey,
Good to see you,
Hassan.
Fred.
Hey, Mike.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Hey, John.
Good to see you guys.
James.
Hi, everyone.
Anchor. So quite a few new faces in here. This is cool. Marcus. I don't think we'd met before. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Okay, looks like we have a pretty full house today. And by the way, for everyone who is going to present today, please be quick. we have a lot of people that want to show off their work, so it would be good to be conservative with time. We can always, go overboard at the end of the meeting, but let's try and keep it a bit short at the beginning. And if anybody has any questions, it would be helpful if you kept them for the end of the meeting as well. Okay, we have 28 people in the room. Wow. Let's see if anybody else joins. All right, Mike, would you like to take it away?
I think we're good to go, yes. So let me share my screen. Actually, before I do that, it would be just nice if you guys join us in welcoming Jade, who has just joined our team and is going to help us on helping the operations at Superfluid, so helping us with everything administration and operations related. So Jade, if you want to say a couple of words, and then, yeah, if anyone wants to welcome her, please do.
Hi, nice to meet you all. As Max said, I've just joined Superfluid as an executive assistant. So I'll be helping with things like operations, finance, and HR. So obviously looking forward to getting to know you all. If you've got any questions or want to know anything about me, just send me a message.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jade. It's a pleasure to have you on board. This is your first community call, so let's see how it goes. I'm going to share my screen, guys. So you should see my screen now. This is our 6th community call. We will try to put them together in a calendar going forward. We will run it monthly. We are thinking about the second or third week of the month. For today, what I'd like to talk about is actually quite a full agenda. So we're going to talk quickly about the Superfluid Gnosis Safe App, which is now live on xDAI. There's not much talk about it. It's just that now finally you can use it for treasury management and DAOs. So you don't have to connect your ledger and approve 50 transactions every month to pay your contractors and suppliers, and you can just set up a stream directly with Superfluid. So that's the idea. Then we will talk about Superfluid subgraph. Patrick has done a great work there. So he is going to lead the conversation and show you everything we have done, and eventually even give you some more information about the graph itself. We will go into telling a bit more about what happened during our beta launch NFT auction. As you know, we have issued 5 NFTs that basically was a fundraising strategy to raise for our community so that we can give back those funds for every open source project that is building real-time finance with us. And then the kind of core of this call will be talking about the scaling Ethereum hackathon projects that I've been building on top of Superfluid, and giving you guys airtime to present your project to the broad community so that we are aware of what you guys are building. And of course, there will be more projects coming in. One of them is Fraction afterwards, just to tell us what these guys have been working on. And as always, we really value your feedbacks and your ideas. So we'll try to leave some time at the end for a Q&A. So if you have any questions, please do keep them for the end. And as Francesco says, if you're presenting, keep in mind we have more than 10 people presenting today. So we need to make it by the end of the hour. So maybe 2 minutes each is 2-3 minutes each is at most we can do. But if you do need to leave early and you still have questions or feedbacks for us, please do write in the chat. Both Francesco, me, and Patrick are going to be active and try to respond to you there. So without further ado, I think I'll just say a couple of words about the Gnosis Safe app, and then I'll leave the floor to Patrick. So regarding the Gnosis Safe, you probably know it already, is a multi-sig wallet. It's actually a bit more than a multi-sig wallet. It allows you extra functionalities. And one of these functionalities is to add third-party applications directly inside the multi-sig wallet. So you can use third-party apps. We thought that Superfluid had to be there. So we basically made it fully compatible and is now live. It was a bit of a surprise announced today. So now you can use it freely on xDAI. There is also the intention from the Gnosis team to launch it on Polygon. So that's going to be happening very soon. So both the networks will be live and you can use it there. If there is anything you would need to manage your treasury or any transactions from a DAO, or you need for your Web3 projects, do let us know. We are talking to the Gnosis team. We can potentially build things together. So please do let us know. Any questions on the Gnosis Safe, we can take them at the very end, so we don't run out of time today. But if you have questions, just write them in the chat. And now, Patrick, take it away with the graph.
All right, howdy everybody. So one of the things in the blockchain space that we have to deal with is how to read data that's on chain and how to take that and consume it in a usable format. And so one tool for doing that is called the graph. And this is something that's pretty popular now in a lot of dApps. Like if you're familiar with Uniswap and you go and you want to see like the analytics for what the behavior has been for a market, you can do that using their tool. They makes these pretty charts and stuff. And behind the scenes, what that's doing is it's using the graph to index the data on chain, which is basically just putting it in a format that's easy to consume, and then providing the ability to access that. So we'll talk about what that means, but basically a developer, such as myself, such as you guys, can write a subgraph which takes data on chain. So this is like, how many flows were opened and what tokens are used in Superfluid, right? And index that, put it into a database, and then provide access to it so that we can use it. Because we can't just be, making 1,000 Web3 calls to our smart contracts every time we want to load a page, right? We need to process all of this data, get it into usable format, and then make it more consumable. So we just launched the subgraphs for Superfluid, and this is going to allow us to load the dashboard faster. It's going to provide you guys with tools so that you can build stuff. For instance, we built a visualizer for xDAI back in the day using subgraph data, and this wouldn't be possible without a tool that indexes the data. So this is pretty exciting. There's a Medium post, of course, but where you'll probably want to go if you're interested in using this is into the docs. So on the left, if you scroll down past tutorial, you go to the docs. At the bottom, there'll be a thing for subgraph. And this is a good place to get started, even if you're new to GraphQL. Everyone hopefully is probably familiar with RESTful endpoints, but subgraphs use GraphQL endpoints. So you have to understand how to write queries properly so that you can get the right data back. But there's a great tutorial here if you've never dealt with GraphQL that you can get up to speed very quickly. And then the other reading here is also very good for understanding how to make queries specifically for subgraphs. And it is, I will say, there's definitely a learning curve. It's not straightforward, but or it is straightforward, but it's going to take 10 to 15 minutes to probably grapple with it, and then you'll start to see the benefit to learning how to use a subgraph and query. And the good thing though is that I've got examples here that you can literally copy and paste. And so the graph, the company, they offer on their site, thegraph.com, they offer an explorer where you can look up other subgraphs that other people have written, for instance, like Uniswap, Compound, and ENS. And then if you scroll down and search for Superfluid, then you'll find all of our subgraphs here. And if you click on one of them, so for instance, if you click on the deployment for xDAI, so there's one for every network, then it'll take you to a playground. And this playground is essentially just where, you know, without coding, without setting up an environment or anything, you can just go ahead and paste your query in here and then hit the play button to run it, and it'll give you the results back. So for this example here, and you can't really see, but basically I'm taking the Fraction. So Fraction is an application that launched on Superfluid with the super token. And so I've just copied the address of the token. And what I'm doing is I'm querying for all the tokens. And then I provide the argument where, and I provide, you know, the ID is equal to the address of the token. So now what this is doing is saying, okay, give me all the tokens where this is the address. And so there's only gonna be one, because there's only one, you know, per network. So with this address, so it's going to return back to me the ID, and it's going to return back to me all the flows. So those are all the flows that are occurring for that token. And then it's going to give me some details about those flows, like the flow rate, the last time it was updated, who the owner and who the recipient is of those flows. So when we run that query, we're going to get a whole bunch of items. I think there's like 50 or so flows that are both open and closed. Most of them are open. So what I did then is, without any, you know, fancy coding or anything, you can literally just copy the data here. And then what I like to do is just go to search for like a JSON to CSV converter, throw it in there, and this is going to quickly get you a CSV file that you can use. And there's plenty of tools for this, but you know, this is like a no code example so that anyone can do this. Throw it into here. And then I copied that to Google Sheets and I made a chart. So now we have a chart of the last time all the flows were updated and then their flow rate. And so you'll notice that they're all the same rate. They're all at 1, which is 1 way worth of token. So there's 18 decimals. So it's like 0.0000, you know, 18 and then 1. And that's because of the way Fraction works. These are all the faucet distributions. So the faucet is sending everybody 1 token, and then you can see at the bottom, like over the x-axis is the time. So yeah, so there's plenty of things you can do. This is very basic example, but that's kind of the flow, how you could go from, okay, you know, what's happening with my token, or what's happening with my super app, or what's happening with my account. So if you wanted to show users' accounts, you can make a query by user and have an example in the docs. Yeah, so how much, you know, USDCX has Alice streamed to Bob? And so I have the example here where you pass arguments saying, you know, here's the owner, here's the recipient, and then here's the details that I want about this relationship. I want the sum, the flow rate, and the last time it was updated. So yeah, so it's ready. It's ready. You know, you can, thegraph.com/explorer, you can search Superfluid and get all of them. You can go to the docs. And then eventually we're going to have a couple more tools around data to make this even more easy. We have, there's going to be another package like the SDK that's coming out called the Data.js SDK. And that is going to make this even simpler and sort of wrap the subgraph. So if you don't want to learn GraphQL and you're really hesitant to do that, you can wait until this package is out, and you can skip the requirement there to learn GraphQL. But it's very easy. I think if you take a look at the examples, you can kind of get an idea the structure of your query is the same structure of data that you'll receive back. So yeah, that's the subgraphs. Please let me know if you guys have any questions about that. And looking forward to seeing the subgraphs used in, you know, the next hacks and projects that you guys are building.
Cool. Thanks, Pat, for sharing. And next we have Nuno. So Nuno is one of our blockchain engineers. He was the person who built the super auction. So I hope a few of you at least participated in that. So he's going to tell us a bit how it went and some data from it. Floor is yours, Nuno.
Thank you. Are you seeing my screen? Can you see the presentation? Okay, thank you. Let me just set this up, present. Okay, so I think every community member know that we did a streamable auction. What is the streamable auction? It's an auction based on streams. That's a novelty. We create a type of auction that you can collect time instead of just focus on the bid. This is the interface that people use. The 5 auctions are closed. And when we started making this smart contract and these interfaces, we had some properties that we wanted to maintain. So permissionless, based on real-time streaming. 2 layers that make this auction very special. It's a bid amount, but also the collected time. So people are buying in reality time. They are not buying anything. In the end, they're going to receive an NFT, but it's more like a game. It's a gamification of the mechanics. And we did that because we wanted something to be fun for the community. It's not a boring auction. If you want that, you can go to eBay. At our dashboard, it was more like a game, capture the flag way of doing it. So I think that at that point, we got it right. People that use it really like it. Let me share some data. This is data from the 4th auction. And this is the block times, the times that people did the operations, the flow rate, and the spikes in their behavior. This is important because a rational agent should never do these spikes because it's not needed. So what type of information with the information we collected, we noticed that there are some points that people get more emotional and try to buy the game. And that's more a reaction of the game itself and not the auction. And for us, this is perfect because people are having fun and they are playing a game with other players. And that's not very common in auctions. People are try to get very mechanical. This is the accounts that interact with the auction, the 4th auction. We see that at least 2 players dominate the strategy, the game. They interact way more than everybody else. And that's normal because in the end, there is always a fight to collect that last hour. We create the concept of power show. It's connected with this orange line. Is when users are raising more than we by the smart contract, we only need 1% more of the bid. But we can see in here in the beginning of the auction, people way outbid each other. It's too much. There is a reason why, because in the beginning, a lot of people entered the game and got the transactions reversed. So they don't believe 1% more from our dashboard and just introduce the value manually. So it makes sense. Okay, this is the end. I explained the auction as a whole. Let me go back again to the fun part. It's hard to see from the data if people are really having fun or trying to compete. So if anyone from the community that entered the game can send me a message, I just want just one question. Why did you bid the way you bid? Because from the data it's very confusing and I cannot come to a conclusion. So if you enter the game, just send me a message, okay, I bid because of this or I bid because of that. I don't care the reason itself. I just wanted to create some type of profiles of users because we find some things we can do better in the next auction or as a product that anyone can use it. But we need to first tune up what this part of fun means to people. I don't know if anyone has a question or if anyone wants me to dig a little bit more about the auction itself.
Thanks, Nuno. I think we can leave the questions till the end, just because I really want to give everyone some time. So first of all, I'm going to launch a poll, and I'm going to ask everyone if, because there's a lot of people that joined us for the hackathon. So I want to understand if the understanding you had of Superfluid changed after using it. So I'll launch that poll. And in the meantime, so as you all know, we've recently finished the Scaling Ethereum hackathon. It was great to see so many people look at Superfluid and use it during the hackathon. And obviously, as you've probably all seen, we didn't really have time to show our hacks, right? In this hackathon, they did it all online, and there was no judging session, which, in our opinion, was, you know, a pity, because we really like to see the faces of the people hacking on our product. So we decided to, you know, invite you guys and see if we could have a session where you showed us what you built. So I'd like to invite, first of all, Brian from LayerHop to maybe show himself and show us what he built during the hackathon. Are you there, Brian?
Yes, I'm just trying to get this the video sharing working.
Go for it.
Sorry, I'm a Google Meet native, not learning Zoom, but still working. There we go. How much time do we have? Oh, you said like what, 2-3 minutes, something like that?
Yeah, 3 minutes should be fine. Yes.
Okay. You can see my screen here.
Yes, go for it.
Okay. Okay. So this is LayerHop. Really, it was motivated out of trying to do cool things cross-chain, primarily cross EVM. This will work with any EVM. It was also inspired by trying to do things. I wanted to do things on Ethereum, you know, let users take actions on Ethereum without paying the L1 fees. So the main idea is you can batch up, you know, different actions. You know, different users will hit the app, whether it's a user or a contract, they'll hit the app. They can say, yeah, I want to, you know, I want to do something on Ethereum. So it'll be batched up on the L2. In this case, it's Polygon. And then another user, or again, even a bot could come along. And with a little bit of incentive, again, everyone kind of chips in a little bit. You know, this bot or this other user will come along and basically, you know, ship all these tokens and what's going to happen to them onto L1 Ethereum, effectively letting them all do things like deposit to Yearn, open a stream, all kinds of stuff. Again, this also works cross L2 as well. And to save time, I've already kind of started this up a little bit. So basically what we have here is I'm a user coming in. These are my wallets across these two layers. And sorry, let me just make sure my timer is running here. So these are the two wallets across the two layers. And what I'm going to do here is, you know, I want to do stuff over here on Ethereum. So I'm going to basically create a plan. So I say, okay, well, I have this, you know, this streaming fake DAI here. You can kind of see it's ticking down. I have my USDC X kind of ticking up. So there's currently streams going on in this wallet. So let's say I want to open a stream cross channel or across a layer. It could be another action, another kind of plan, but that's what I want to do. So basically, again, this is very rough. It was just me in a couple weeks, but basically, this whole app is kind of nautically themed. So what you're going to do is, you know, you want to deposit cargo, which is basically tokens. You want to have a plan for that cargo. So I'm going to deposit some tokens, and what I want to have happen on L1 or whatever the other channel EVM is I'm going to. So once I do that, it'll basically be deposited. This plan will be deposited in my LayerHop contract on Polygon here. In this case, there could be, there's just my plan here I've already added, but again, there could be several. I'm just going to pretend that I'm, just one user doing this. It could be a bunch of batched up actions, but here we can see that I want to deposit and stream fake DAI, streaming fake DAI. I want to deposit 2, and then the stream rate's not displaying correctly, but basically it's a very low stream rate. So basically, I'm going to open a state channel with connects, and I have a little thing off screen to kind of let me know when it's done. Like happening a boat's basically opening the stream, so or the state channel. So once that opens, now I have a ship, right? And I want to load the cargo onto the boat. Let's see, so I'll do that. That's going to take the tokens I put in my LayerHop contract here and deposit them in the state channel. I'm just waiting for that to come back. Sorry, I'm just watching my other screen here. So anyways, basically the idea is, doesn't look like it's working right now. I just tested before the meeting, but basically what's going to happen is put those tokens in the state channel, then I'll transfer and basically ship those over to the contract over here. And using a meta transaction, not only the tokens will be deposited on the other layer here, the Ethereum layer 1, but also the meta transaction will execute, which is basically executing all those plans. In this case, it's opening a stream on the other side. And again, sorry, I can't show it's working. I don't know what happened with my test here, but basically what we would see up here is that we would see a stream start here in my other wallet in Ethereum. So now I have this bridge across layers and streaming bridge. And all that needs to happen, again, with basically incentives, users will come along or bots will come along, get a little bit of a fee paid, and basically keep dumping tokens across this bridge, just like people do in Connects now, and basically keep that stream alive. But that's basically it. I'll yield the rest of my time.
Cool. Very cool stuff, Brian. I really like that little streaming animation between the boxes too. I think we might steal that. All right. Well, next, I think we can go with Hassan from Perpetuity.
Hey guys. So unfortunately, I don't have a front-end demo to show you guys due to short time that we had. We weren't able to get one up, but we were able to get most of our smart contracts written out. So I'm just going to talk about generally what the application was about. And so Perpetuity is a perpetual options trading platform. So what that means is you're able to perpetually hold a long or short position on either wrapped ETH or wrapped BTC. So the way it works is you start a Superfluid stream to the option writer, and you have the right to exercise the option whenever, as long as the stream is going. So as soon as the stream stops, you're not able to exercise the option any longer. So the way the whole flow is the option writer basically starts an auction. So we took inspiration from the super auction and basically start an auction for a certain duration. During that time, people will bid on the auction to determine what they will pay for this premium flow rate. So in traditional options, a premium payment is paid upfront, but this is basically paid perpetually throughout the lifetime of the option. So once an auction is over, the person with the highest bid will be able to call a function to create the option. Now, what it would look like on the front end is using the JS SDK. We would start a flow to our factory contract, which in turn reroutes the flow to the option writer using callbacks. The option is created at this point, and the capital is locked up on the option writer side. So this would be wrapped ETH, wrapped BTC for a call position, and we're using stable coins as the settling currency. So this would be DAI or USDC for the put. So another thing to note is we made the option an NFT to facilitate a secondary market. And we would be using, again, a hook to change the premium flows as the NFT is sold on the secondary market. For now, the reason why we went with an auction-based approach as opposed to using a traditional pricing formula was because perpetual options are actually undergoing academic research. So we're currently working with a few other people to figure out the pricing formula. In fact, a day after the hackathon, a crypto VC fund actually released a paper on basically our idea and echoed a lot of what we were discussing within our team. So the reason it's difficult to apply traditional formulas like Black-Scholes to this option pricing is because of the lack of an expiry date. So that's basically what our project is. I mean, if anyone has questions and they'd like me to walk through them, some of our smart contract code, I can pull it up in the end.
Right. Thanks a lot, Hassan. I'm really impressed by the fact that you would go out and build something that nobody else had ever built before. And then it's cool to see the next day, a big VC fund, it was Paradigm for anyone who knows them, come out with a paper basically describing what you built. That was amazing.
Yeah. And one other point. So if you ask, in what situation would this product be useful to someone? Take a look at the bear market right now. ETH and BTC dropped like crazy. So one can potentially, hold a fixed income position and lock up their ETH and earn a premium rate to offset any fluctuations in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I think next we have Michael, also called Mike or Shepherd Blue from Rickoshea.
All right. Yeah. Hey, so yeah, we built a Superfluid app. Thanks to Fran and all his help pairing with us like late at night on the weekends. Let me share my screen. I can share it a little bit. So the premise of our app was to do like streaming with dollar cost averaging. I don't think I need to explain dollar cost averaging, but in general, it's this premise of just like buying a small amount over a long period of time in order to so get an average price. So the mechanics of our app is that users can open up a stream into the application using US dollar coins, and then from there, we can batch swap them and send them back, and we use a stream on the way in, and on the way out, we use an instant distribution. And the nice thing about the instant distribution is that rather than sending like one transaction to everyone individually, we can send one transaction that actually disperses it to everyone without doing many transfers. So if you do this method, there's sort of the open transaction where they start streaming, and then the closed transaction where they stop streaming. And then in between it, there's, it's not like everybody needs to make a transaction, just us, we would just make the transaction. So the way that it looks, the way that we have it now, we've sort of been playing with it a little bit, but, we just have this basic interface, which we're going to rebrand, make it look a little different. And you see, we have just like the stream, you just see it counting, it's actually counting down. So this is your balance, the inbound rate, and then the total that you've received so far. And then, yeah, so this is how you would access it. One piece we didn't get to is like swapping on SushiSwap periodically. So right now we just kind of pre-fund it with some ETH, and it kind of just takes it out. But we're working on that. So this swaps, it'll just swap it and then send it in a single step. Yeah, thanks.
Very cool stuff, Mike. It's cool that I think you're one of the first to use the IDA in a way that makes a lot of sense. Meow really likes your hack, by the way. He's a quiet guy, but he really likes it.
Yeah, I'm trying to use it. I'm trying to set it up.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna use it. I wish you'd had it up before.
Yeah, it takes a while. Relax. We'll have it eventually, though.
Yeah, I'm glad that you used the IDA. Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Secret Manufaktur with Florian.
Yeah, cool. Let me quickly share my screen. So what we built about the hack was an NFT minting and marketing platform on Secret Network. Valid question, why another one? Because Secret Network has some interesting properties, mostly that it allows you to store the metadata of the NFT privately and encrypted, so that only the owner can ever see it. And this is the application that we came up with the hack, so I can have a look at all the NFTs minted on the platform, and I will only ever see like a pre-rendered thumbnail. So we generate, when you upload your image to IPFS, we generate a low-res thumbnail. And only if I own the token, I do have the possibility to kind of have a look at the full-res image that was uploaded at some point. And I lose the ability to access this as soon as I sell the NFT. And one idea that we tinkered with was to have some kind of private gallery feature, so that instead of selling off my NFTs, I can kind of rent them out to a gallery. And those galleries could take an entry fee, and this will get distributed to the artists who provided some images to show off. And what we did with Superfluid, you see that I have a gallery open, I have an image that I'm watching, and I have one outgoing stream. And I do hope that it works. Testnet seems to be a bit shaky today, but have my VS Code running in the background. And you see that as soon as I switch the image, I send up a request to our backend, and this triggers interaction with the Superfluid framework. That will kind of stop the flow to the previous image and enable the flow to the next image. And if everything goes to plan, we should see a change here. But yeah, that is kind of the point we get to. It is a server-side rendered application for some reason, which turned out to be rather problematic with a lot of the Web3 frameworks. So I think most of the time was spent on trying to get all the imports running and get all the packages to play together, as well as figuring out a way how to kind of get a wallet in there, because I would like to have all the interactions run without the user interacting with MetaMask or something. But yeah, worked quite fine so far. Not sure where to take this from here, but definitely interesting projects from our side. So you see that the transaction for the new flow went through. I do hope that it will show up in a second here. But yeah, proof of concept was working, and especially considering that we've done this very much in the end while being very tired. Quite happy how easy it was to pick up after figuring out some of the quirks. There we go. I think I started 2 streams by accident, but yeah, you get the idea. So by interacting with a platform, we will start streams to the artist wallet, which is right now hard-coded in here, but in the end, of course, would be grabbed by the NFT itself.
Very cool work, Florian. I don't know if you're seeing all the messages in the chat, but everybody really likes it. So good job.
Okay.
And it's very cool to see that you managed to crack the backend part as well. And I'll take your comment as a cue, and I'm going to launch a poll asking you guys what was the biggest headache you had working with Superfluid. So, you know, as we have a lot of builders in the house, it's great for us to collect some information on that. So I'll launch that now, and please answer. And if does anybody have any questions for Florian? Okay, then let's go on with the next hack. So I'd like to invite a Creative Platform.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Let me just share my screen. So yeah, so my name's G2, and believe some of my team members are also here in the chat. But we are creative, and we've been working on a platform for creatives, brands, and fans to interact and create NFTs and stream stream royalties in real time using DeFi. This is our UI. I don't know if everyone can see my screen or not. I guess you could throw it on. I'm not sure if you can see it though. Okay. Are we good, Francisco?
We can see your screen. Yes.
Okay, great. Perfect. So this is our UI that we've been working on. Basically, what we have a way to have different campaigns. For instance, we have a Tesla campaign for an example for now. But basically, the brands would basically be able to have a video presentation of what their campaign may be, and can actually request what those different parts should be for the creators to submit their NFT ideas to the different brands. So these would basically be liquidity pools that they would be able to submit into. And then it would obviously output different NFTs as a result of the brand as well. So one of the things that we've been kind of working on, we also have our DAO as well. So I noticed that you guys were talking about the Gnosis Safe earlier. So we'd like to obviously interact with that at some point to where we can utilize our treasury. This is our DAO holding up here. So we do have some tokens that we've been working with a little bit there as we've got some additional members, but one of our wallets will be for our treasury, to where we can actually stream our royalties using, right now I'm looking at SongStats to utilize real streaming to get that information from Spotify and Apple Music, or YouTube or TikTok, where we can actually earn fees and analytics from that. And then we can basically tie this to our NFTs of some sort. We're still trying to work through a few kinks as to how we necessarily will work with that. But what I'm estimating is that we could basically stream our NFTs onto Spotify, Apple Music at some point, and be able to stream those royalties live using these metrics and Superfluid. So we were just really testing an address of an owner who would own an NFT, and just streaming those royalties to that address. That's pretty much our Superfluid for now. Our other part would be tying in our community governance token to where our contributors actually would earn publishing royalties for the total minting of the. So if let's say there's 100 NFTs that's been minted on a platform, the contributors would get a percentage of that royalty and would stream it directly to our DAO token, incentivizing our contributors further. So those are the kind of the two flows that we're looking at and we're working on integrating at the moment. That's the gist of it.
Wow, that's really, really cool. I love this this graph. Are you pulling the information straight from Spotify for this?
Right. Yes, they're all live, being pulled from all these different sources that are available. This is one of my artists, actually, Helly Love. But yeah, just
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, looks like you have someone in the chat that's very interested in talking with you. Okay, well, guys, does anybody have any questions for Gawain? I don't know if I said that right.
Correct.
Okay, well, is there anyone else from Scaling Ethereum? We were expecting a couple of other projects, maybe Azulo or Rentify.
Yeah, hi, Azulo's here.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Awesome.
All right, thanks a lot, Gawain. And yeah, the floor is yours, John.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm John from Azulo. And Azulo is a decentralized digital trust creation, governance, and asset management platform. We know from the traditional finance area that there's always a need for like family investments and how to disperse them to heirs. Also, companies deal with trusts, how to manage assets and distribute them to employees in the case of like pensions and different types of funds. So we created Azulo with the intention of how to create those trusts for digital assets, also with a DAO governance feature, and how the customers could create their own trusts. So we use the Gnosis Safe wallets. All right, let's see the creation of a Gnosis Safe wallet. Okay, creation of a trust. Okay, and these would be our trustee wallets. So ideally, when we get everything rolling, we would have the main Gnosis wallet, and we would want to stream these different assets into the trustee wallets. So, for example, let's say we were going to stream some say super ETH. Right, so we could come over here to beneficiaries. Right, and we want to stream an auto distribution, and this is where Superfluid would come into play. So the assets being held, let's say that we had some Aave USDC, or we had Compound USDC, and they were in the main Gnosis Safe wallet, and we wanted to stream them to one of the trustees. So let's try some Super ETH and stream them 1/100 of an ETH per month. Okay, and this is how we would get it started and get it streaming into the trustee wallets. The problem that we've kind of run into is that from using Superfluid, we can't get past the MetaMask wallet because the Gnosis Safe wallet doesn't seem to have like private keys that can talk to the MetaMask wallet. So this is the part that we're trying to overcome. In the next hackathon, we're going to start working on a portfolio token, which would also have would actually have the functionality of part of the DAO governance, or maybe we have to make a separate token for that. But it's kind of cool that you can list all of your assets, and you can send them, you can receive them with the app. But it really would be great if we could get the Superfluid flows going properly, and we can get past that MetaMask issue. We also have as a plan to get it onto Polygon, but that's also connected to that same block with, MetaMask is looking for a private key from the account, and it doesn't seem that the Gnosis Safe wallets have that key, so they're having a difficult time to communicate. And since you guys came up with that great product this morning with the xDAI, maybe you guys can clue us in on how you got past that issue with MetaMask and the private key. And
yeah, absolutely. I think we can help you out to figure that out, because it gave us a bit of a headache as well, but then eventually we managed to fix it. I think we could probably have a call afterwards and figure this out together.
Okay,
all right.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Very cool product. Let's see, who could we have next? I think someone from Rentify, right, is in the house.
Yes, hello everyone, I'm Gianmarco, and together with my team, we built Rentify. So let me share my screen. Okay, can you see it? So that was our first try at actually building something with Web3. We come from a pretty engineering backgrounds, but it was our first try with Web3 and Ethereum in general. And we thought, how could we integrate the idea of a streamable cash flow like Superfluid inside a popular industry like the property rental? As some of us are moving towards summer, we all want sometimes to have our island to set aside and enjoy summer. And why do we need to have the hassle of deciding how much I want to stay, how long, etc.? That's where Superfluid comes in. So basically somehow, it stopped right now. Anyway, the idea beyond Rentify is that you can decide the location and pick a house you like and start a stream as long as you want. And then when you're finished, you simply close the stream. So instead of having chunk payment where you decide I want to stay a week, then my duration will be 7 days and I will pay this X dollars. I pay on a daily basis, actually on a second basis, but we say on a daily basis, and I can decide when I want to leave and how long I want to stay. On the other side, as a landlord, I am free to actually rent my own house without having problems in terms of management, as people can leave and go without any problems. We built it using React.js and Solidity backend. We basically upload all metadata, including the image, to IPFS, and we connect the metadata CID from IPFS to an NFT, and the app simply retrieves all the NFTs and shows them on the platform. But somehow is broken now. I think it's the continuous development that's doing something in GitHub. Lastly, I want to give a feedback to Superfluid team. First of all, I want to thank Francesco and Michele for their support during the hackathon. And one of the things that really made us, that posed a problem to us, was how to translate an amount of money, like $100, to a Superfluid stream. So we made all this part of the code to translate price per day in US to ETH, and finally come out with this flow rate. So it would be great to add some more documentation on this point.
Right. Yeah, maybe we could include a utility in the SDK to make the calculations. I think that would be a simple thing that would probably make your life a lot easier, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right.
Okay, I can, if I have just one more moment, I fixed the, okay. So yeah, I wanted to show continuous development. So basically, okay, now it's pulling houses from London, as I'm located in London. And yeah, as you can see, I can click on a property, click on rent now, and the flow will be opened. I think it will fail as I don't have enough balance in my Superfluid token and my wallet. Anyway, that was all. Thank you.
Nice, thanks a lot. And as we are on track, we have time for a bonus presentation by Marcus. Go for it.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to share the window really quick. So, all right, everybody can see that? Okay, so basically, there are only 3 things you need to know about the project. It's a token with a total supply of only 1. You can ever only own a fraction of the token, and the token doesn't have any real life value at all. It's purely an experiment that sort of we came up with when we're filling up the liquidity pools for Niva, and we're playing around with that. So when the project started, that's the way the project went. We minted one Superfluid token. It's the second one after Niva, and the whale holds 25% of them. 50% went into the liquidity pool on HoneySwap for xDAI. 12.5% went into the Niva liquidity pool, and 12.5% are still locked for future liquidity pools or expansion thoughts. And the funny thing is, I filled up the liquidity pool, the first one, the xDAI, with 0.5%, 0.5 of the fraction with matched with 1,000 xDAI. So the initial token price was $2,000 on April 20th, and 12 hours later, the token price already surpassed BTC's all-time high. And in 48 hours later, it reached its own all-time high of $461,000. And now with then everything went down a little bit and up and down and up and down, and now we're back to $85,000, what the whole token is worth right now. Of course, you can never really retract it because you would kill the liquidity pool. So it's just it's a funny number to look at. The idea to also make it a streamable token was also because the whale obviously holds 25% of the whole token. And to make it more obvious for everyone that the whale doesn't sell off everything right away, I set up a Superfluid stream that doesn't unfortunately show the correct US dollar values right now, but those 0.25 of the fraction token gets streamed over 2 years into a circulation account, and from there on we can sell it, we can move it, or fill up liquidity pools or whatever. So just to make sure that those 25% doesn't get dumped right away whenever, and everybody can look at it. So it's here. If we see the strategy, then you can always click on the link and see what the fluid rate, what the rate is. So far, we have more than 1,100 holders already who got their chunks some way. And one of the coolest things is Didi. I think he's also here in the Zoom right now. He built the first project that builds on top of the fraction token, and it's a streamable faucet for it. So if you, we also built a sub page for that. So if you want to have some fraction on xDAI, but you are not familiar with HoneySwap or whatever, you can just send 0 xDAI, do a 0 transaction to the faucets account, and that will open up the smallest possible stream that's possible on Superfluid right now, because it opens up a stream of 0.0000001 fraction per second into your xDAI wallet. And yeah, like the rest of the project, I'll try to be as honest and open right from the beginning. So we did some calculation. It would take you like 80 years to get the fraction just to pay up the gas amount you paid for this 0 transaction. And then to pay the transaction fees to swap it back into xDAI, so you would have to wait another 80 years. So that won't make you rich. I mean, if the token is one time worth $50 billion, yeah, then maybe, but so far, better not count on it to get rich from the faucet. And yeah, that's actually basically it. It's also listed on CoinGecko, which was responsible for that spike here. And yeah, that's basically the whole story so far. There are some ideas to expand the project over the next month to also get it to other blockchains, always preserving this one token at all, but that's going to take some time. And it's also, it is also working on streaming farms for liquidity pool providers where you get the rewards as a stream, but that's going to be first for Miva. And then once that's established, then I'm going to put this also up for the fraction token because it's a fun project. Let's face it, that's the way it is.
All right. Thanks a lot, Marcus. I think it's really cool.
Sure.
I love fraction. Okay, so that's it for today. We're gonna move into a Q&A, and I just want to share a last poll with you guys, which is more about what we can do to improve your experience. So please answer that poll, and then I'll leave the floor to Mike.
So yeah, if you guys can respond to the poll as soon as it goes live, it really helps us. So today was very packed. We enjoyed seeing all these projects pitching to us and sharing what they've built with the community. This is all what we are about. So we want to encourage more of you building. The reasons we have done so many polls today is that we realize that sometimes you don't really share all the pain points or all the friction that you find in building with Superfluid. So we wanted to know a bit more what doesn't work more than what we do well. So yeah, first of all, let's have any Q&A regarding the projects you've seen or what we presented. But then I'd like to ask you also a couple of questions about the friction items. So if anyone has any questions for the projects or for what we presented, let's ask it now. Does anybody have any questions?
I had a question for Hassan. Hassan, how do you deal with the delta changing and the volatility and the pricing of the calls and the puts? Do you have any algorithm?
No, yeah, that's exactly the thing that we needed to figure out. Figuring those things out was pretty difficult given the time that we had. So we spent a lot of time, doing research into it, and that's probably why we, didn't have a time to put up a front end as well. But I'll, if you want to connect with me, I can point you to a paper that was just released on this idea. And so this guy named Dave White from Paradigm, a crypto VC fund, he wrote this paper, and basically in the paper he prices the option and the flow rate based on a basket of regular perpetual options. So I think he's sort of simplifying having to figure those things out, the specifics of the option pricing itself, and just using like a basket of options themselves. So that's something that I'm looking into right now, and we'll most likely be trying to implement that into our pricing formula.
Awesome, really great idea. Good luck.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so I do have a question for you. You said that your understanding of Superfluid changed quite a bit when you started using it over time, and so that was one of the poll that we launched at the beginning. So how can maybe you share, for those that felt like the beginning was not very clear or it changed really a lot, can you share how it changed? Was it changing because you didn't understand it at the beginning? Just to tell us anything that can help us to improve that messaging, maybe.
And break the ice. For us, I kind of I did a lot of research around Superfluid prior. I think actually I got hip to Superfluid at ETH Denver. So so for me, I kind of had been reading into it quite a bit. I think it became more clearer once I got to dig into the actual the contracts kind of worked and actually getting a chance to utilize the dashboard and kind of getting to play with it for me, because maybe hands-on is sometimes better, I suppose. But I think as far as documentation, I think things were spot on, in my opinion. So
And what did you realize that you didn't maybe understand in the beginning? What was like a haha moment or?
Sure.
Or
so I think it was more so about understanding the flows, right? Because I mean, flows can convoluted, so to speak, when you just think, oh, I can just stream everything. But you know, but that wouldn't theoretically probably make sense in a lot of some cases. But I think, for instance, in our case, was okay. How does that look for someone who owns? If you have a bunch of people who own NFTs, you know, how does that look for each individual who may own the NFT? So I think once we were able to kind of visually see how that works and interacting with it, it made it clearer for us. If that makes sense.
All right, cool. Anybody else who has changed the perception of Superfluid over time and wants to say his opinion?
Yeah, I will jump in and say, as you probably remember at the beginning of the hackathon, my idea was completely different. I like the idea, I still like the idea behind Superfluid of having a streamable cash flow. And the thing is that everything that comes with the dashboard, with having to upload to actually recharge your wallet to use Superfluid, is kind of a break between the user experience. As you need your user to go to Superfluid to recharge the wallet and to do so more than once if they really want to benefit from the streamable cash flow, having just one-time payment. And yeah, that's something I didn't understand at the beginning. I thought it was directly from the wallet, or in some sense, you could send a payment and create the Superfluid stream from that with the liquidity from the payment.
Yeah, it's definitely possible to do it all in your own UI. So there is no strict requirement to use our UI, right? It's not a banking app where you have to go through the company, right? You can rebuild everything you want into your own UI, but obviously there's more things that you have to manage yourself, right? So adding the deposit button and kind of, you know, explaining to users that they have to upgrade, all of that is obviously a few more steps than necessary, but you can definitely do all those things. It's just more UX work.
Yeah, so our dashboard is meant to simplify the user experience, so that, you know, if you want to put together something over a weekend hackathon, you can still build a super app, and then the user can count to the dashboard and open a stream to your smart contract address for your super app, and then there is an interaction so that your system works. But we don't want to gatekeep anything, and we encourage everyone to just go and build all the pieces they need to make the super app work independently. Again, you know, Superfluid protocol is open source, so we don't want to create any gatekeeping situation, and it's basically for everyone to play with. So if you have any obstacles like that, if you're unsure about, you know, how you can possibly do that directly in your app, just come to us on Discord and we'll try to help you out building it.
Okay, thank you.
I had a similar issue when I was doing development, where I had to kind of go to the Superfluid app, especially like in Polygon Mumbai. There were a couple times where it just wouldn't load, like it would try to connect the wallet and just wouldn't work. And without building my own UI, I was kind of just stuck. Like I kind of had to be like, just work on something else. I'm not sure if that was the network or what was going on, but, and I'm not maybe suggesting you guys, you know, build a widget for everybody that they could drop in. Although if it's simple enough, then maybe that could make sense. But maybe an example where you could say, hey, you know, this is, you know, if you were to build a little widget or something to let people manage their streams in your app, this is, you know, maybe some examples. I mean, obviously that you guys have great documentation. I recognize you can build everything you want, but there's something I was like, as I was doing my hacking, I was like, okay, now I got to go build that if I can't get the dashboard to work. And then like someone else was saying, you know, you don't want to have to jump from app to app. So I think facilitating that would help have more native experiences for hacks. So any kind of support around that I think would be beneficial. One less piece for someone else to build.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we are trying to put more efforts into building developer tools and little bits and pieces that simplify your life than perfecting our dashboard. for the next coming weeks. So maybe the dashboard is going to be a little bit more buggy than we wanted, or a little bit less features, if you will, but we will have more tools and developer-oriented bits of code that should simplify your life. So if you have any ideas or any suggestions, please do shout and let us know, because we are now putting the priorities for different components we're trying to build, more maybe on the analytics side or on the data side, as you've seen with the subgraphs. So let us know. We definitely want to build more tools to make it easier to build Superfluid.
I want to give a shout out to the graph subgraph you guys have, and Patrick, because I've used the GraphQL before, but I was having a problem talking my contract or to the Superfluid contract to get flows, and I got the graph thing working and all the data I needed in like an hour. So it was great and it worked. And I'm glad it was on the test nets because I needed it on both sides, because my app was kind of showing all these flows in different places, not just the wallet that's connected. So it was very helpful.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for the shout out. We also give a big shout out to Pat for building the subgraphs. It's also making our lives easier in a way with the dashboard queries itself. So any other questions?
I had a comment or / question to make about the graph protocol. Is there ever a scenario where an event would be missed and not indexed?
I mean, nothing's perfect, right? But ideally, no.
So, you know, from an experience standpoint, and especially for financial like options market, it would be pretty dicey to miss something. So I was wondering, like, so currently, you know, we were storing like our auctions and our options in you know, in an array of structs. So switching to like, what would that, how would we ensure that everything works perfectly switching to a, you know, like a subgraph flow?
I mean, the idea is that you would be leaving the business logic on, the business logic would be on chain, and you wouldn't be relying on the subgraph for anything that was critical to the way that your contracts operate. So that would so the only mistake that could be happening is a view, like you present the data to the user and they're making a decision based on that, and that decision might be wrong, but hopefully there's something built into the contracts themselves that would prevent them from doing something horrible, you know?
Gotcha. Makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, it could technically happen, and hopefully it doesn't, because a lot of these DeFi protocols rely on it. Like pretty much every DeFi site is using the graph. So we're all screwed if there's a bug like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not so bad if, you know, if it's like a decentralized network of nodes that are running this graph protocol to index this information, then I guess it's a little bit better. But if it's like a centralized thing, then that's pretty scary.
Yeah, right now it's centralized, but the network is going to be live very soon. We'll put our subgraphs on there, so then you'll have two options. You'll have the protocol, like the network graph, and then you'll have the hosted version of the graph where you can rely on both.
Hey guys, I have a quick question about flow rate. Can you adjust the flow rate given, say, in our situation, like market conditions, where you know, in a very volatile market, you could increase the flow rate or lower it in a less volatile market? And if so, where would we go to do that?
So yeah, you can definitely do it, but do keep in mind that when markets are more volatile, generally the transactions are also more expensive. And to change the flow rate, you do need to make a transaction. So you would need the user to basically come online and change that. There's no way for anyone else to do it. So it would have to be the sender that updates that amount. So keep that in mind. But if you can design a flow, maybe you can send them an email or send them a notification and say, hey, the market's volatile. Maybe you want to change this amount, right? That's something you could do. If you do want to do it through some sort of contract, that's also possible, but obviously it would require you to have some sort of custom contract that can handle that, the permission. I think you're using a Gnosis Safe, so there might be a way to do this using I think it's called permitted payers or something like that module. But again, it would require some extra Solidity work.
Okay. Awesome, thank you.
Cool. I've seen a lot of you guys are asking for a set end date for streams. Actually, 5 of you are asking. So I guess the odds are like what, like 30% of the call people are asking for it. So we'll try to consider that for our roadmap and see if it's possible and eventually when. And then I have seen there is a question for Patrick. With Superfluid Subgraph, is it possible to know if an address is already using Superfluid app?
Yeah, so there's an item in the database called accounts, and you can query an address. And if it exists, then that means it's touched Superfluid. And if it returns nothing, then it won't have used Superfluid at all. So you can query by account address, yes. Just be mindful that everything that's indexed is lowercase. So you're gonna need to convert it to lowercase before you search.
Cool. All right. Are there any other questions? We have gone a little bit over time, but we find this to be extremely valuable. So thanks for staying with us until 1:15. Any other questions about Superfluid, the projects, our roadmap, what we're gonna do next? What would you like to see, happening for Superfluid beside the set end date?
Address book. An address book, so you can you know who you're sending money to right now, because that's currently a little bit confusing if you don't remember when you set up a Superfluid stream to someone. That's.
So you mean in the dashboard?
Yeah, in the dashboard. Yeah.
Noted. It
Can I
was
ask
one
you,
of the features.
Marcus, do you generally always connect to your wallet using the same browser?
No.
So you use different browsers?
I use different browsers, different wallets, different instances of Minerva wallet for testing and stuff like that. So unfortunately, that's not good. But most of the outgoing streams that are still in place are from the same wallet. So it would be okay if I connect with them, and that gives me the addresses back.
Right. In that case, the fact is, basically, if we want to show you that data, we either store it in your browser locally, right? Which means if you go from a different browser, it doesn't show, right? Yeah. Or we ask you to sign a message to log in which case we would store the data in a server, but then we know the data and you have to sign in, right? So that's kind of the trade-off, and one of the reasons we haven't really built this yet. So it's good to get your feedback.
I personally would be super fine with local storage, because even though I use different wallets on different browsers and different apps and stuff like that, the one I'm sending to, every wallet is only set up in one browser. And if I connect and send it from there, then it's okay if the address book gets also stored only in that one browser instance. So that's fine. Definitely better than saving private informations on someone else's server. Not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, exactly. We also share your feelings there. I think sometimes it's acceptable, but if possible, better to avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a constant trade-off between security, privacy, and let's say convenience. So we need to make sure that we delight everybody, and it's a bit tricky to think about it in a kind of fully permissioned, centralized manner, but also very convenient. So I think local storage is a good trade-off, but it doesn't work for everybody. So that's also a bit tricky when suddenly you, I don't know, change your browser or delete your cookies, and suddenly you don't have any more the names, and you're like, okay, who is this address now? And you maybe didn't even know that would disappear, and now you're a bit confused about the situation. So it's a bit tricky to do it for everybody.
Exactly. We're in the same problem with a Minerva wallet right now. Do you store it only locally, or do you sync it someone? If someone restores his backup, are then all his contacts gone? It's exactly the same thing.
All right. Yeah, never-ending issue, I guess, for blockchain. Any other questions? I think we have like, say, 5 minutes to go because we don't want to keep you out. Where are you guys? Where are you in the world? Just quickly to know. New York.
I'm in sunny Florida.
Florida, Paris, New York.
Austria.
South Africa.
Ooh, Cape Town.
Hey, Mikhail. Rome. All right, so we got a bit all over the place. We need more Asia, apparently, because we don't have a lot of people from Asia. So we'll try to boost a little bit our presence over there. Glad to see it's an international community, though. Ecuador. Hey, Santiago, good to have you. Any updates on DAO House, Santiago? How's Dominion doing? Okay.
I think that means it's doing well, right?
I suppose so. Santiago, you were on mute if by accident you didn't realize. All right. Any other questions for today, or should we call it a day?
How do you guys set up the one-on-ones?
So we don't have a formal process at the moment. People simply reach out, and if we have time, we set the calls up. So I guess if you need help, just send either me or Patrick or Mike a message, and then depending on what kind of help you need, we can get the right person to have some time with you.
Thanks.
Yes, Santiago is saying that he doesn't have a microphone, but the minion on DAO House is ready to use and deployed on xDAI and Polygon. So that's another DAO little tool that you can use if you need to manage a treasury or you need to send streams from a DAO beside the Gnosis Safe. And then Darnell, yeah, we do have our Discord. We have an Hangout channel there, which is like a voice channel. And just sometimes we are just standing there waiting for someone to show up when we just open up the chat. Or if someone reaches out to Francisco or Patrick, I don't remember a moment or a situation where we didn't get back, but sometimes it might be a bit busy because we get flooded by messages. So just be insisting, just insist and we'll find time for you. Best way to get in touch with us is, again, Discord. And if we don't reply, someone else in the team will. And if not, just private message us and we'll definitely get back to you.
So what project are you working on, Darnell?
Well, right now, it's ironic. I reached out to Gawain just a little while ago, seeing that you guys are working on some things for artists and NFTs. Right now, I represent indie brokers, and we're working on a SaaS. We're new to the space pretty much, but we want to actually be more of a bridge for innovative investing, for some people who are locally just getting into blockchain. So basically, a lot of where we find our market is, people who want to know about NFTs and know about streaming income through mediums such as like Spotify and, a lot of streaming outlets and things of that nature. Want to be independent. So just getting them on board, really, from the education side is where we've been for the past 6 months, and, hoping to engage Superfluid into some different ideas we have. I know as far as the project is concerned that we're critically focused on is something a lot along the lines of what Creative is working on. He's had a great presentation. But on the other side of that is really to have streaming income for benefits. So hoping to connect with Oculus and some of the things that they're doing over there to kind of, bring all these ideas to form.
Nice, very interesting. Yeah, we're also working with Oculus actually, so it's amazing to see a bit of cross-pollination between the products we love.
Yeah, yes. So I'm hoping to cross-pollinate with as many people as possible, if that makes sense.
Sounds good, guys. Any last question?
Is shilling allowed?
Do you want a 30 seconds promotional shilling video?
Not at all. No, I just wanted to say that for Miva, the Gnosis auction just launched 1.5 hours ago. So check that out if you're interested.
Pass the link in the chat for everyone who wants to do that. All right, cool, guys. I think it's time to wrap it up. It was a pleasure to have you, as always. We wish we could do more of this, but we don't want to dilute the attention of the call. So we'll keep it on a monthly cadence for now. So we'll try to do it every second week of the month, or third. So we'll probably publish a calendar with all the upcoming 6-7 calls, so that if you're busy, you know when the next one is going to be. And then we will have that on a Discord, and we'll always notify you over Twitter and Discord when we do one of these calls. So thanks again for participating. Thanks for all your insights. And we hope to see you again on the next one.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
See you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining, everyone.